title of our study is International Training Center and Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated School, Distance Learning, the Impact in Specialized Subjects. Good morning, this is our chapter 1, the problem and background of the study. In phenomenon, students learners are the ones heavily affected by school closures amid COVID-19. Learning has been done remotely through modules, internet, televisions, or radio. However, the degree to which learning can still take place outside the classroom, particularly in technical vocational livelihood or TVL track. The TVL focuses on practical skills and work readiness, makes distance learning particularly challenging. Practical skills are often acquired through learning by doing, which occurs in school-based workshop and laboratories or through hands-on experience through work immersions. And in introduction, the current unprecedented situation related to COVID-19 is affecting learning at all levels, but especially in adult education, work-based learning, and technical vocational livelihood or TVL. This study is to investigate the impact of distance learning in specialized subjects of International Training Center and Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated School. The 4 specialized subjects are the bartending, housekeeping, front office, and the food and beverage.
The followings are the different statement of the problem. Number 1, what are the different specialized subjects offered in Ilaya Barangka Integrated School and International Training Center and Hospitality Institute? Number 2, what are the modes of teaching used in Ilaya Barangka Integrated School and International Training Center and Hospitality Institute? Number 3, how does distance learning affect the specialized subject? Number 4, what are the impact of distance learning in specialized subjects? And lastly, number 5, what are the advantages and disadvantages of distance learning in specialized subjects? We aim to discuss and state the answers of the following statement of the problem through this research study.
So, for the scope and the limitations, our main focus on this topic is to know the different impacts of distance learning in specialized subjects, to determine the bad and good effects of distance learning in specialized subjects, not only for the students but also for the teachers. This study also aims to determine the hindrances of distance learning that the teachers and students can be encountered.
Definition of terms. The terms of this study are conceptually and operationally defined for clearer and understanding of the concept. The following main terms are presented, discussed, and defined in relation to each other. Distance learning. It is a type of learning that requires to use technologies in virtual learning. Specialized subjects are the subjects that are taken in specialized track like TVL that requires to have special training facility. Instructors, an individual responsible for teaching the students in specialized subjects. These are the professional teacher that sharing their knowledge in the students. Virtual demonstration. Students' learning occurs in online world and during synchronous time of their class. Requires to use technologies for learning the specialized subjects through Google Meet. Synchronous. Learning happens in real time. In meaning, the learners and the instructors will interact through technologies by the use of Google Meet. Asynchronous. It does not require real time. Instead, the instructor will give activities in the students, and then the students will pass it through Google Classroom. Is significance, the quality of being worthy of attentions. Importance, TVL track and TVL stands for technical vocational livelihood, and the TVL track is one of the two tracks offered in senior high school. The other one is academic track. Demonstrations. It is performs of the students that shows they are adopting the lesson taught by their teachers. Distributed learning is an instructional model that allows instructors, students, and content to be located in different non-centralized location so that instructor and learning can occur independent of time and place. Is online learning. Online learning is education that takes place over the internet. It is often referred to as e-learning, among other terms. Is career tracks. Is the jobs classifications structures that aligns jobs at university to their respective labor market by occupations and supports the development of possible career paths designed to enhance career mobility.
So this is our chapter 3, research design. This study is a qualitative research because it conducts online interviews and surveys that will help to improve this study. It provides more comprehensive information regarding to the impact of distance learning in senior high school students of HE and ELIS students. The study of the research is naturalistic approach. Naturalistic inquiry is an approach to understand the social world in which the researcher observes, describes, and interprets the experiences and action of a specific people and groups in societal and cultural context. The type of based on purpose that we use in these studies is explanatory research. Explanatory research is conducted in order to help the problem that was not studied before in depth. The explanatory research is the preliminary research to clarify the exact nature of the problem to be solved.
So for the part of procedure, it is like a research paradigm in chapter 1. So first, we have to identify our needed respondents, which is the selected TVL track students and teachers in Ilaya Barangka Integrated School and International Training Center and Hospitality Institute. So our respondents were composed of 50 people, 25 each school. To reach out our respondents, we decided to use online surveys in gathering data. Especially in this meeting pandemic, there's a lot of restrictions, and besides, this can be risk to our respondents' health. So we decided to use online surveys with the follow-up questions.
The respondents of this study were composed of 25 randomly selected technical vocational track students and teachers from International Training Center and Hospitality Institute, and 25 randomly selected technical vocational livelihood track students and teachers from Ilaya Barangka Integrated Schools. After selecting 50 random students, the researchers conducted a surveys along the given questionnaires for the randomly selected technical vocational livelihood track students and teachers, followed by follow-up questions and interviews.
This is our chapter 4 and 5. So in our SOP 1, Specialized subjects offered during distance learning in International Training Center and Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated School. So as you can see in the table, we have here 4 specialized subjects, which is the bartending, housekeeping, front office, food and beverage, and we have here students and teachers. In students, bartending got 39.1% of the respondents, and in housekeeping, 37% of the respondents. And in front office, got 37% of the respondents, and in food and beverage, got 34.8% of the respondents. And in teachers, the bartending got 12% of the respondents, and in housekeeping, 33.3% of the respondents, and in front office, 66.7% of the respondents, and in food and beverage, 33.3% of the respondents. In result in SOP 1, based on the table, the specialized subjects offered during distance learning in ICHI and ILIS is bartending, housekeeping, front office, and food and bev. Bartending has the highest percentage answered by the students, which is 39.1%, and in teachers, the subjects they offer is front office. Front office has the highest percentage answered by the teacher, which is 66.7%. In conclusion, most of our students and respondents are taking the subject of bartending. Bartending mixes and serves alcoholic drinks at a bar. The reason why students choose these subjects is because they are interested in mixing different alcoholic drinks. In teachers, most of the subjects they offer is front office. Front office is defined as the department of a business that have contact with customers. Teachers, they offer this subject because this subject is less demonstration or less virtual demonstration, because this subject doesn't need tools and equipment. It only needs skill for students to understand the process in front office. For bartending students, mixing alcoholic drinks is not easy in virtual demonstration, because bartender mixes different alcoholic drinks and allows it to student to taste. But since we are using online class, students cannot actually demonstrate with their teacher. Students must visit different sites that related in their lessons and watch videos in online net for additional and advanced learning. Teachers are teaching front office. It is easy because it does not allow any tools and equipment in virtual demonstration. They can recommend their students to watch video in internet sites. For additional learnings, front office are more on telephonic and communication. For SOP number 2, modes of teaching for distance learning in International Training Center and Hospitality Institute. As you can see on the table, we have the modes of teaching, which is the online class and modular. In the first column, we have students and teachers. In students, online class got 99% of the respondents, and in modular got 1% of the respondents. And in teachers, online class got 100% of the respondents, and modular got 33.3% of the respondents. The result in SOP2, the modes of teaching for distance learning in ICHI and ILIS is online class and modular. In students, they prepare online class than modular because online class allows the students to attend classes from any location on their choice. And in online class, students can be guided and taught by teachers by communicating through Google Meet. It is effective for students to understand clearer the lessons of their teachers. In teachers, online class is better to use than modular because it is an efficient way to deliver lessons to students. Online class has a number of tools such as videos, Google Meet, PDFs, and teachers can use all these tools as part of their lessons plan.
3 table. The modes and least effective modes of teaching, International Training Center and Hospitality Institutes and Ilaya Barangka Integrated Schools. The table shows are the percentage of asynchronous and synchronous. In student, asynchronous have 5% answer by student. Respondents and synchronous have 100% answer by student respondents. Based on table 3, they makes the modes and least effective modes of teaching of International Training Center and Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated School is synchronous and asynchronous. The student, based on the findings, they prefer synchronous because synchronous refers to all types of learning in which learners and instructors are in the same place and the same time in order for learning to take place. In least effective modes of teaching in international training centers in Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated Schools, the students prefer synchronous than asynchronous because synchronous is the time for teacher to teach. Watch the teachers in the visual demonstration. Also easy for students to ask the teacher question that they do not understand. Student can take down notes on teacher's teaching. Rather than asynchronous, students will answer the given task or activity provided by the teacher using Google Classroom. Recommendations of the modes and least effective modes of International Training Center and Hospitality. For the student, the teachers, especially, there are some demonstration, it is better to choose synchronous time because synchronous can better to understand the teaching and visual demonstrations of the teacher in the method of Google Meet or any apps that can be used for meeting or teaching.
So we go now to the teacher's table. So the table shows the results of how distance learning impacts the teachers in specialized subjects at the International Training Center and Hospitality Institute and Ilaya Barangka Integrated School. So in this table or in teacher's table, it shows the greatest problems during distance learning is the slow internet connection with an average of almost 100%. While the time management vocational teacher face the problem of the students' absenteeism and technical problem has the same percentage of estimated 33.3%. Meanwhile, the students' inconsistency or poor cooperation and disciplining the students into their limitation has 0% votes. So we go now on the students' table. We can see very obvious results in this data. The greatest hindrance or problem that the students can be encountered during distance learning is the noise in surroundings, with a percentage of 73%, while the second impact may belong to the unstable internet connection with an estimated percentage of 71.7%. As we can see, the results in lack of tools and equipment for specialized subjects and places for online demonstration will clearly have the same rate of 52.2%. The average vote is 50%, which belongs to no proper time management. And lastly, for the least votes of hindrance or problems in distance learning are having a hard time picking up new topics with 37% and financial instability with a percentage of 32.6%. For the summary of results, the problem that impacts the student the most is noisy surroundings, with over 78% vote. while the least is financial instability, with 32.6% votes. After conducting surveys for SOP number 4, the researchers have determined the different problems that impacts the students' and teachers' performance, actual demonstration, grades, and other monitoring progressions. There's always a solution in a problem. So my recommendation for this topic in SOP number 4, which is the impacts of distance learning in specialized subject, is the teachers and students should have a time management and patience in dealing with the different problems that they can encounter.
This table shows the different advantages and disadvantages of distance learning in specialized subjects for students. For the advantages, flexible and self-paced learning have 65.2% of the respondents. Better time management have 41.3% of the respondents. Demonstrated self-motivation have 37% of the respondents. Improved virtual communication and collaboration have 54.3% of the respondents. Independent learning have 67% of the respondents. Having a long time practicing for online demonstration have 54.3% of the respondents. Less distraction in studying have 26.1% of the respondents. And using alternative ingredients and tools for online demonstration have 54% of the respondents. For the disadvantages, difficulty in staying motivated have 54% of the respondents. Difficulty in staying in contact with instructors have 60.9% of the respondents. Difficulty in interacting with peers have 26.1% of the respondents. Difficulty in staying connected have 63% of the respondents. Difficulty in getting immediate feedback have 47.8% of the respondents. Lack of tools and materials in specialized subjects have 65.2% of the respondents. No available gadgets to use for distance learning have 28.3% of the respondents. And lack of place for online demonstration in specialized subjects have 58.7% of the respondents. And now, for the different disadvantages and advantages for the teachers. For advantages, building high-quality teaching and learning within distance learning-based system of 33.3% of the respondents. Advanced information and communication technology have 33.3% of the respondents. Learning new things have 66.7% of the respondents. Time management have 66.7% of the respondents. Significant costs have 33.3% of the respondents. Expanding teaching and strategy online have 33.3% of the respondents. And students just watch the video demonstration without doing actual demonstration, and teacher may require to use the other site for additional and advanced learning of their students have 0% of the respondents. For the disadvantages, difficulty in giving immediate feedback to the students have 33.3% of the respondents. Technical difficulties have 100% of the respondents. Difficulty in staying motivated have 33.3% of the respondents. Lack of social interaction have of distraction in homes have 66.7% of the respondents and cannot clearly show the tools and equipment for the class demonstration have 33% of the respondents cannot perform actual demonstration because due to the indicate space for instructional material storage of 33.3% of the respondents and lack of training in virtual simulation of practical activities have also 33% of the respondents. For the results in statement of the problem number 5, the most common advantages of distance learning in specialized subject for a student is independent learning that has 67.4%. Because in distance learning, after the teachers give the lesson to you, you are the one who will analyze and understand the topic. And for the disadvantages, lack of tools and materials in specialized subjects. Because of the pandemic, many of the students all have low financial budget. Some students cannot afford to buy tools and equipments for online demonstrations. The teacher's instinct about the advantages of distance learning in specialized subject is learning new things and time management. This has the most number of respondents who are favored with it because some teachers are new in applications on phones and they learn new things, and for the disadvantages, technical difficulties have 100%. Many of the teachers don't have much knowledge in technologies and it may cause many technical difficulties during their teaching and classes time. For the conclusion and statement of the problem number 5, the researchers conclude that distance learning can have good and bad sides for students. The good side is that they can manage to study by themselves or alone. It is very good on their part. And the bad side is some students cannot pass or comply with online demonstration in specialized subjects. Also, distance learning can have good and bad sides for teachers. On the good sides, many teachers can have more knowledge about the technologies that teachers use for their future lessons and classes. The bad side is if the teacher is new in using gadgets and new applications, there will be many possible technical problems. For the recommendation for the student, if there are some online demonstration, try to use alternative tools and equipment for that, so you can save money by buying tools for online demonstrations. And for the teachers, if there are some technical problems experiencing in teaching, try to ask some ideas or search some ideas on how to fix the technical difficulties that you are facing in your class.